Hello.
Yeah, hi, Arlene.
Yes.
How you doing? It's the Rob and Slim Show.
Hi. Good evening.
So, your book, Mama's Christmas Cookbook,
Yes.
how long ago did that come out?
It came out in September 29th of this year.
Okay. And you're a native of New York?
Yes, I was born in the Bronx. Grew up in the Bronx. Moved up to Rockland County when I was married. My children were raised there, and I retired, and I am now in Florida.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask where you were now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, was it your mother-in-law, or?
Yes. This is the recipes from my mother-in-law.
So I love that. I love that because that's how, like, it just seems like my grandmother is too, you know. She's passed down her recipes, you know, to my, aunts and uncles and all that. That's just how it is.
Precisely, and that's the reason why I put this book together, because so many people had said to me, gosh, my grandmother used to make that, and I don't have the recipe for it, and that's precisely what inspired me to do this.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. I just made the Zeppelis. My boys were up for Thanksgiving, and my oldest son, I'm sure he would have finished them on his own, but we made like 2 plates of them, and the first night we ate a whole plate, and the second day we finished the rest.
Isn't it amazing how you can get so much from your family over just doing something with food?
Yeah. I think he said to me, Daddy, why are these so good? And I'm like, they just are.
Yeah.
He's 7. It's great. And he was talking to my ex-wife one day, and she asked him, I guess her father makes cookies, and she asked him what he liked better, and he said, Daddy Zeppelis. So, when you got a big family, I'm sure, right?
Yes, I have a very large family, and I
Yeah.
also have an extended family. I'm married for the second time.
Okay.
And I have, that family also. And
Yeah.
it's just wonderful when we get together and we all get along, and it's just wonderful. Usually Christmas time, I'm about to go up to New York to be
Nice.
with, everyone.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm going to cook.
That's like my grandmother. She cooks for she has 6 kids, and every one of them has, 3 or 4 grandkids. It's huge. I was just telling Slim how loud it gets over there,
Exactly. And it's just a wonderful time of the year. This book was written with, my mother-in-law's recipes for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But those recipes transcend throughout the whole year.
Oh, yeah.
But she just concentrated on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, of having the whole family together. Just a great time of the year.
Now, I didn't see, have you ever heard of, it just seems to me like every Italian family has a different thing, and my Aunt Rose used to make this Easter pie. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yes, it's the grain pie.
It's in there, okay.
It is in my book. I have that recipe in my book.
I loved it, and she passed away probably about a year ago, and I always wondered,
Oh, spaghetti and crab sauce. My Aunt Kay used to make this all the time.
The spaghetti with the crab, spaghetti
yeah.
with clams.
I also, my Aunt Annie used to make, she always put peas in her spaghetti sauce.
Yes. Yes.
I always thought it was different from whatever region of Italy you were from. It seemed like the recipes kind of differed, because my friend Danny, his mother always made this thing called moyats. It was like a fried spaghetti dish. It was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I got to point out right now that we gave your book to our buddy Pete, who's here, and he is completely absorbed in it right now.
My grandma used to
I'm glad
make.
that you're enjoying looking at it.
It's amazing.
My grandma used to make half this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Those little cookies. What are those little cookies called? Like the little balls.
I don't know which ones you're talking about.
Oh,
They kind of look like they got almond.
like sprinkles on them, kind of like.
With the honey balls?
Yeah, those are great too.
And, in Italian we call them the struffelers.
Yeah.
And that's usually, done at Christmas. Struffelers.
A lady named Mary I used to work with would make them every Christmas for us.
Right, and then we have the Angenetti cookies that is made a lot, for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I got a question real quick. All the recipes in the book you said were your mother-in-law's recipes. Did you keep them exactly the way she had them, or did you tweak them a little bit?
Well, you know what was difficult about it? My mother-in-law was an old-timer. She never really learned how to read or write because she grew up in Italy on a farm, and, she came to America. And her recipes were oral recipes. She would say it, verbalize it. And, of course, she never really measured anything. It was like 2 fingers of milk, a chunk of butter, a dash of salt. So you have to try and convert that. And cooking truly is an art form. You just put, if you eye things together, it is an art. Baking, on the other hand, is a science. Baking you have to be pretty precise about.
Yeah.
So you put it together, you experiment for many years that I experimented until I got it right.
Did she run a restaurant, or was it just for family?
No, she was just a housewife. She had 4 children, and those children married, of course, and had their spouses and the grandchildren. She would have them every Sunday. We were there for dinner. She would make dinner, God bless her, and it was wonderful. It was just wonderful being together with the family.
Yeah.
And that's what's missing today in our society. We need to get together. Families are our biggest strength.
Yeah. I agree.
Cooking is a part of that.
Yeah, that's like we were just like I said, at Thanksgiving, and there was like 30 of us at least in the same room. My oldest son leaned over and he said, "Daddy, I like Thanksgiving," because I guess just the company. And I was like, "That's good. You should, buddy."
It's interesting to point out that a lot of families nowadays don't sit down and have dinner together anymore. It's just like somebody cooks dinner and someone. One of the kids walks out, fills his plate up with something, and goes into his room to play video games while eating the food. But
well, that's unfortunate because even today, the kids, even if you're sitting at the table, the kids have their phone and they're texting, and recently we got together with the family. We were 19 of us, and we took away their phones. They couldn't text. They had to interact with other family members, and we had a great time.
Yeah. It's even though you're on the computer, people kind of forget there's people on the other the other side of that. On Twitter, you have to think there's a person on the other side of that.
Yeah, we really as a society have to get back to communicating with one another. On a personal level, face to face. With your children, talking to them, and of course, my thing is cooking for them.
Yeah.
Because cooking for them brings when you cook for a family, it brings a family together.
Yeah. That's even the texting. I have friends that because I don't have texting on my phone, and I go to call them and they don't answer because they weren't. You have to, I guess, text somebody now to tell them you're going to call a lot of times.
Before you call, exactly.
It's what? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's it. If I try to call my daughter sometimes, she doesn't answer the phone. But if I text her, she's there immediately.
Yeah.
So do you cook every meal in your household? My grandmother used to, she had this routine where she would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
She would make us a huge breakfast. She would be already preparing dinner. She'd have something set aside for lunch, and her whole day was basically just preparing these meals and getting stuff ready.
No, I don't. Not today. Today, I do cook usually every night for dinner for my husband and I. And I do think about it during the day. What am I going to, prepare for the evening? And I plan it. But no, I don't make the big breakfasts and the big lunches anymore.
Yeah.
We just don't do that. But I do try and have dinner ready.
I saw too. It touched on the fish. What was that? Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Oh, I hated that. The bacala.
Oh, I love bacala.
Yeah. Oh, I remember one time my family tried, give me. I couldn't stand it, but
Oh, I fucking eat that shit. Oh, I eat that stuff so much.
but yeah, I was never a fan of that.
Well, you know why you have the fish on Christmas Eve, because it's just an extension of Christmas, the Catholic Christmas. If you have 7 fishes, it would stand for the 7 sacraments. So if you only had 3, it would be for the Holy Trinity. But that was all part of, the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
So now, do you ever make trips to like Italy or?
Oh yeah, we go. We have relatives in Italy,
Cool.
and I share some recipes with them. As a matter of fact, I'm on Facebook, and I just did a book signing in this wonderful Italian market. And in back of me, they had these cans of tomatoes. So a cousin of ours in Italy looked at my picture and saw my book signing and called me the Queen of the Tomatoes.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you were on Facebook or Twitter. I couldn't find you on Twitter, but I didn't even check on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Cool.
Not on Twitter yet. Don't know all that technology.
Yeah, I only did it for the show.
I'm still an old girl trying to learn new stuff.
Yeah.
So now you said that you're retired. If you don't mind me asking, what were you doing when you were working?
I was retired as a caseworker for foster care.
Okay. Was that something that you really enjoyed doing?
Oh yeah. When you work with children in foster care, you see the breakdown of the family, and when you get them into foster care in a good home, and they're sitting around a table, and the parents is cooking for them, it's so healing for them.
Was there ever like the worry that maybe you might be putting kids in like the wrong home, or would you always really scope everything out?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. What?
It was a bad question. No, I worded it wrong, but I was wondering because like I don't really understand any of like the foster care or anything like that, and I was wondering if there was ever the fear of when you do select these homes for kids that they'd be going to a home that you thought was good but really wasn't.
Well, most of the children that are in foster care are removed from their biological home for one reason or another. Most of the time, they're abused.
Okay, yeah, that's...
Is that what you're trying to say? I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say.
Yeah, me neither. So
yeah, that was a crappy question.
Yeah, it was a bad question to begin with.
But the book is primarily, it's got the recipes are fairly easy. There's nothing that is way out there. It's simple herbs and an Italian recipes call for garlic oil, parsley, cheese, and that's just about most of the recipes that go with it. Nothing that's really out there.
Yeah, that's what I like about
hard to get.
What's your favorite recipe in the book?
Oh, good question.
My particular favorite, I always love spaghetti with clams.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. But there are so many. There's spaghetti with the mussels. You can make with mussels. I mean, the fish. And then, of course, another great recipe that I love is chicken with potatoes and peas, which is so easy to make. I mean, it's not difficult at all.
Yeah.
But there are many recipes.
Ooh, I just saw pickled eels in there.
Yeah, they have. The Italians like pickled eels, and it's okay. You have to acquire a taste for it.
I like. Do you have any recipe in there for like manigot?
Yes, homemade manigot from scratch.
Oh, I love
they
that.
They come out as light as a feather.
Yeah, my grandmother makes that too. That's so good.
Yeah, and then of course there's lasagna. There's calamari. which is another delicacy. You know, you could either put it with sauce or you could fry it up with breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
That's pretty popular, you know, in the restaurants. When you go to an Italian restaurant, you get your fried calamari with sauce.
I love that. I love the pasta fagioli, too. That's so good.
Right, pasta fagioli. And there's a lot of recipes in here that she did. I also talk about her, my mother-in-law, when she lived, how she interacted with her family, how she came here from Italy. You know, not knowing, I thought she was a very brave person because she came here on a honeymoon, not knowing how to speak English, not having any family, and yet made a wonderful life here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I saw that you said she came on her honeymoon and never went back to Italy. Well, like 30 years later.
Back, right. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And of course, you know, they lived in areas, in Italian areas in New York, and you know, they had their gumadas and gumbadas, which were their friends, helped raise their families, and that was their family.
Yeah.
They relied upon one another to, you know, to succeed.
Like it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah, nobody does that anymore. I don't
No, nobody. I don't even. You know, I've noticed from when I was a kid how different it's changed. Like you used to talk to your neighbors all the time. I've had neighbors move in the past year that I don't even know their names or.
You don't even know them, right?
I haven't even said hi to them. Yeah, it's so weird.
And if you say hi to them, they look at you like you have 3 heads or something.
Yeah, you feel like a creep. You know. I don't like that.
Yeah, but years ago, it you know, everybody helped raise your kid. I mean, if your kid was out in the street, they would watch them just as they would watch their own.
Yeah, that's how I think it should be.
So, yeah, and I talk about that. I talk about the tradition, you know, that she had, the family tradition of being together. Her Sunday dinners, we used to go there on every Sunday. God bless her. I mean, she would cook up a storm, and at the end of the day, instead of you being so full, she would come out and say, well, you want a little piece of sandwich to go home with? I mean, you know, things like that you remember, you know. Your bellies were always full. And
That's
she
awesome.
had the stamina to cook for all these people and clean up. And, you know, today, you know, we get tired of being in the kitchen all day long. But years ago, they loved it. They did it.
Yeah, that's another thing I remember hearing, that my great-grandmother always had 2 kitchens, one to cook in and one for show.
And one for show. And, of course, all Italian families had the downstairs.
Yup, the basement.
Downstairs. And downstairs in the basement, they made all their canned tomatoes. You would have on the ceiling hanging herbs drying.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the downstairs.
Exactly.
So now, did you manage to fit all of your mother-in-law's recipe in this one book, or were there some that you weren't able to fit in there?
Well, these are just some of her favorites, and some that I put together that I know that she liked, but she never made, you know. But yeah, most of these are all hers.
That's awesome.
Are you going to release another cookbook with recipes that you've made on your own?
Possible. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
That's great.
I'm just, like I said, this book came out in September, and I am amazed about the response that people are giving me about it. They love it, and I am just on a wonderful journey with this book, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. And yes, I'm thinking about putting together other recipes of maybe my own.
That's awesome.
All right, Arlene, we're going to have to wrap this up. Why don't you tell the people where they can get your book, whatever else you want to promote, and then we'll let you go.
It's called Momma's Christmas Cookbook, and Momma, by the way, is spelled M-O-M-M-A.
Yes.
And it's available on Amazon.com, and it's also available through Trimark Press, and their phone number is 800-889-0693.
Is there a digital version? Is
It's
there?
on Amazon.com.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Arlene.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for having me on. And it's a pleasure to talk to you.
You too.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
night now.
Good night. Have a
Take
great
care.
Christmas.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks.
And use some of my recipes from the book.
Definitely.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Awesome.
That's cool. All right, we're taking a break. We'll be
See ya.
back.